Ngayon ay didiscuss ko yung criticisms towards effective assessment o yung the other side of the argument. Dito sa the other side of the argument is that maraming critics ang criticize ang school sa pagtuturo ng values at attitudes towards the learners. So they believe that yung school dapat is yung tinuturo lang doon is yung academic subjects like math, English, science, etc. At ang pagtuturo ng values at yung attitudes, beliefs ay trabaho ng family or church but not the schools. Teachers is dapat kailangan nilang i-make sure na kung mag-focus sila sa affective domain or yung students' attitudes, feelings, and values or yung beliefs ng students is that yung teachers dapat yung tinatarget nilang attitudes and beliefs is yung agreed by everybody or yung agreed by all or yung tinatawag nating universally approved values and beliefs such as yung positive attitudes towards learning or yung self-esteem at hindi yung controversial values and beliefs. So, let's define yung universally approved values and beliefs. So, yung universally approved values and beliefs is ito yung mga attitudes and beliefs na kung saan it was agreed. Yung sinabi ko kanina, it was agreed by everyone. Kasi it helps especially the students to learn better, get along with other people, and be a good person. So, yung examples kanina yung sinabi ko, yung positive attitude towards learning, yung self-esteem, self-confidence, also yung respect, yung honesty, and such. About controversial values and beliefs. So, ano nga ba ito siya? Yung controversial values and beliefs, ito yung mga beliefs and values na kung saan hindi lahat ay sumasang-ayon, which can create differences and disagreements sa loob ng classroom or sa klase. Usually, yung mga values and beliefs na related sa politics, religion, or gender, kasi diba, meron naman tayong different perspective towards sa mga ito. So, in other words, dapat yung ma-nurture sa loob ng classroom is yung mga universally approved values and dapat yung di dapat ma-nurture sa loob ng classroom is yung mga controversial values and beliefs. Next is yung attitude, traits, and learning targets. So, according to Hoon, 1995, effective means variety of traits that is different from knowledge, reasoning, and skill. So, ibig sabihin, yung effective is that hindi lang siya tungkol sa knowledge, sa reasoning and skills ng isang estudyante, but yung sa effective traits is that included dito yung attitudes, yung beliefs, self-concept, citizenship, and others ng students. So, yung mga traits na ito is tinatawag na non-cognitive affective traits. So, it means that it is beyond our knowledge kasi involved na dito yung emotions and feelings natin or ng students. Most of the students involve both their emotions and cognitive beliefs. So, meron ako nitong examples. So, sa table, as you can see, meron diyang mga example, but then hindi ko na siya i-discuss isa-isa because as far as I remember, na-discuss na yan siya sa FLCT natin. So, basahin nyo na lang yung nakalagay sa table and hindi ko na siya i-discuss. But, yung iba dyan, yung ibang traits dyan is madi-discuss ko siya sa further discussion. Naman is yung attitude targets. Dito sa attitude targets, according to Macmillan 1980, yung attitude daw is as eternal states that influence what students will likely to do. Yung internal states po na sinasabi dito is that ito po yung nagde-determine ng positive or negative or yung favorable or unfavorable reaction towards an object, situation, person, and etc. So, in a learning institution, attitude is contingent on subjects, teachers, other students, homework, and other objects, or persons. Ibig sabihin, ang attitude or yung kung paano tayo or kung paano or how the students feel or behave towards the learning is that nakadepende po ito sa factors sa school. Like yung subject, teachers, other students, homework, and others. So most often, one can identify the positive or negative attitudes that a person intends to foster or at least keep track of because these attitudes are related to current and future behaviors. Ang sinasabi dito na we can actually see whether a student is trying to develop a good attitudes like being responsible or bad ones like being lazy. So these attitudes are important because they affect how the students acts now and the future. In simple words, yung dito sa attitude targets, we can detect or we can see yung attitude ng students ngayon kung paano yun makaka-affect sa kanya in the future. Next naman is yung potential attitudinal target. Dito naman, meron ditong apat na potential attitudinal target. So, isa-isahin natin siya. Yung first is yung positive attitudes towards learning. Dito, students who are positive today about learning will tend to be tomorrow's learner. Ibig sabihin, kapag ang student daw ay may positive view about his or her learning ngayon, mas malaki yung chance na maging successful student sila in the near future. It means that having positive view towards learning will help the students in their lifelong learning. Next naman is yung positive attitudes towards self. What happens in the classroom can have a significant impact on children's self-esteem. Ibig sabihin daw dito, yung mga nangyayari sa classroom ay may impact sa students tulad ng pagkakaroon ng inclusive classroom environment wherein nafe-feel ng mga students na included siya. By that, nade-develop yung self-esteem niya. Through that, nagkakaroon ng confidence ng isang student to try new things and to engage himself or herself in the class. Next is yung positive attitude towards self as a learner. Dito naman po is that sabi dito, self-esteem as a learner is an effective variable over which educators have significant influence. Student talaga yung merong ng kanyang sariling learning. Dito nag-learn sila ng sarili nila pero merong guidance ng teacher. Next is yung appropriate attitude towards those who differ from us. Sabi dito, the more tolerant and accepting students are toward members of the other ethnic, gender, national, racial, or religious groups, the more likely those students will behave properly towards such individuals in the future. Ibig sabihin po nito is kapag natututo ang isang mag-aaral na tanggapin at respetuhin ang iba despite of their differences sa culture, sa ethnic, sa religion, sa gender, or sa kanilang national identity, may possibility po na magiging maganda din yung pakikitungo nila sa iba in the future. Ibig sabihin, they can be able to learn also being understanding and respectful in the social aspect. Next is meron ditong tatlong components na according kay Forsyth 1999, merong tatlong components or contributing factors ang attitude. Una is yung cognitive. Dito sa cognitive, ito siya is yung evaluative belief such as yung thinking something valuable, useful, or worthless. Sa affective naman is yung emotions or feelings associated with an object or person. Next is yung behavioral, indicating a willingness or desire to engage in a particular actions. Next is yung value targets. So, dito sa value targets, sabi dito, values are basically the principles or ideals na importante sa life natin. So, pwede natin isipin ito in two ways. First, and states of existence, which are yung mga ultimate goals natin sa buhay like happiness, success, or peace. Second, modes of conduct, which are yung mga paraan ng pagbehave natin na considered good or desirable like being honest, respectful, or hardworking. Now, in school setting, according to Macmillan 2007, na kapag nagsiset tayo ng value targets for students, dapat tayong mag-focus sa non-controversial values or yung mga values na lahat ay generally agree para walang gulo or conflict sa loob ng classroom. Also, dapat din na related ito sa mga academic learning at sa goals ng school. So, kasi yung point ko dito is that dapat hindi lang moral development ng students kundi para rin maging mas effective sila sa pag-learn. So, teaching values like responsibility, honesty, cooperation, or perseverance helps students grow both as a learner and as a people. So, dito, as you can see in the table, meron dito mga example ng value target. So, una dito, honesty, integrity, justice, and freedom. So, let's define yung sa honesty. So, honesty is that, sabi dito, dapat yung mga mag-aaral ay dapat matuto sila na students should learn to value honesty sa pakikitungo nila sa iba. Yung honesty, hindi lang siya ito tungkol sa pagiging totoo or yung pagsasabi natin ng totoo, kundi para rin ito para rin ma-build ang trust at may pakita na maasahan yung mga students sa actions nila. Next naman is yung integrity. Yung integrity naman po is ito yung pagiging consistent sa sariling values at principles kahit walang other people na nakakakita sa atin na nakatingin. So kapag may integrity ang students, palaging hindi naman siya tama, but then integrity kasi yung nag-guide sa students towards a good decision or yung tamang desisyon na dapat nilang gawin. Next is yung justice. Sa justice naman, dapat yung mga students is maintindihan nila na lahat ng tao ay deserve ng fair treatment. Importante ito na maisabuhay, matutunan ng mga mag-aaral kasi dapat may equal rights at protection yung bawat isa. So dapat mahalaga na matutunan ng mga mag-aaral yung justice para at least they know their right. Alam nila na kailan nila dapat ipagtanggol yung kanilang mga sarili. Next is yung freedom. So, students should value freedom sa democratic countries. Kasama dito ang pagrespeto sa rights nila at yung rights ng iba. At ang pag-intindi kung gaano kahalaga ang civil liberties para sa isang fair at open society. So, ito yung mga examples ng value target. So, dito, meron ditong quote, less is more. Ibig sabihin ng less is more is that kapag sa konteksto ng pag-measure ng affected traits at learning targets, ang less is more ay ibig sabihin, as a teacher, huwag nating subukang i-assess lahat ng traits o learning targets ng sabay-sabay. Mas mabuti na pumili ng pinaka-importanting traits o learning targets na gusto mong ma-develop sa students mo. So, kapag konti lang yung ating mini-measure is that mas klaro, mas malinaw at mas tumpak ang observation mo sa kanilang values at attitudes. It will help also na para sa effective feedbacking at mas madaling ma-monitor ang progress ng bawat student. So, in simple words, as a teacher, dapat focus ka sa quality kaysa sa quantity ng assessment. Next naman po is yung motivational target. So in education, motivation is basically how much a student is willing to put effort into learning something. It's not just about wanting good grades, but it's about how much energy and focus a student invests in the learning process. So researchers have studied motivation using different approaches. And one popular way is called the expectancy and value framework. by Brophy 2004, Pintrich, and Shank 2002. This framework looks at two main things, expectation and values. Define natin yung expectations and values. Yung expectation is tungkol ito sa self-efficacy ng isang student, which means how confident a student feels about being able to do a task successfully. For example, if a student believes that they can solve a math problem correctly, their expectation is high, which usually makes them more motivated to try. Next is yung values. So, values refers to how important or meaningful the student perceives the task to be. So, example, even if a student is confident, if they think the task isn't important, they might not put in much effort. So, ibig sabihin kapag daw ang student is hindi confident na para sa kanila hindi importante yung isang task is that hindi sila magpuput ng so much effort doon sa paggawa ng task na yun kasi they don't value it. Feel very capable of writing an essay but may not care much if they think it won't help them in real life. When we assess students' motivation, we try to understand why they are learning or participating in activities. The reason behind their action help us what drives them. Meron ditong two types of motivation, di ba? You are familiar naman with this, yung intrinsic and yung extrinsic motivation. So, yung intrinsic motivations is nangyayari siya kapag yung student is that ginagawa nilang isang bagay kasi gusto nila, they find it interesting or na-challenge sila by doing that activity, that task. And also they value yung learning na makukuha nila doon sa paggawa ng isang task. Meanwhile, yung extrinsic motivation naman is it happens because of external factors like yung rewards or yung punishment. Diba? You are familiar naman with that. So, kapag mayroong reward, mas mamomotivate ang students na gawin yung isang task. Or kapag naman mayroong punishment, kapag hindi ginawa yung isang task, syempre, mapipilitan yung students na gawin yung task na yun para hindi makareceive ng punishment. So, potential interest target, meron ditong tatlo. Subject-related interest, interest in reading, and interest in emerging technology. Dito sa subject-related interest, students should not lose interest in the subject being taught. The teacher's goal is to keep lessons engaging so students remain curious and motivated to learn the topic. Dito is that dapat daw, as a teacher, dapat yung students natin hindi mawala ng interest sa subject na tinuturo natin. So, yung goal natin dito is that mas gawing engaging yung ating lessons so that yung mga students is they will remain curious and mas motivated sila na mag-learn kasi nga, diba, tinuturo natin ng ayos yung subject at hindi sila nawawalan ng ganang matutunan yung subject na yun. Next is interest in reading. Students who read because they are genuinely interested becomes better readers. Dito kapag ang student is yung mahilig siya magbasa ng mga kung ano-ano, mga books ba yan, is that meron silang makaka-develop sila ng strong reading skills na makakatulong sa kanila na maintindihan ng mas malalim yung mga information na binabasa nila. And then meron silang yung literacy, they are literate na makakatulong sa kanila na mas maintindihan yung kanilang binabasa kapag meron silang interest doon sa kanilang binabasa. So, interest in emerging technology. Dito naman po is kapag ang estudyante daw is curious siya about sa mga technologies or sa mga emerging technologies is mas sila yung mas may interest sila sa paggamit ng mga computers at other tools effectively. So kumbaga they are using those yung technologies sa in a right way, yung parang hindi sila gumagamit lang because they want it. Pero kapag kasi meron silang interest doon is that alam nila kung paano gamitin yung technology in a wise and safe way. So ganun siya. That's the end of my discussion. So hopefully nanood nyo itong video na ito, at sana meron kayong natutunan sa diniscuss ko.